Hey guys and girls, happy holidays once again. We are at the end of the Home Alone franchise. Why did we ever agree to do this? So this is the sixth Home Alone movie to date. It came out just 2 years ago, went straight to Disney Plus, and I think probably it's fair to describe it as a nostalgia sequel. So it's Home Sweet Home Alone. Very clever. And like the last movie, there's a few faces in this one as well. But one is they bring back Buzz, they bring back the same actor. The twist is that he's now grown up and he's a cop, and he has like a cameo for nostalgia reasons. But you've got this like family in the neighborhood. So you've got Pam, played by Ellie Camper. Now, I don't know if this is an in-joke because, of course, she was on the US Office and she played like the new secretary when Pam went off to art school.
Oh, okay.
And obviously the regular secretary was Pam. So I don't know if by calling her Pam in this, it's some sort of... And her husband, Jeff, is Rob Delaney, who's a British comedian.
Oh, okay.
And he's someone you would have seen in some... like. He's maybe best known for a sitcom in the UK called Catastrophe, with Sharon Hogan, which he created. But yeah, he plays like the other kind of main lead in the couple, and in a bizarre plot, they become the villains of the movie. Like, you wouldn't have seen it going that way at the start.
So the couple are like on the verge of bankruptcy or something. They're trying to sell their house.
He's having problems at work.
He's having problems. And when they sell their house, this woman and her son come in under pretense of looking at the house so the kid can use the bathroom. And while they're in there, they pull out the couple, the main couple, they pull out these antique dolls that they recognize are like really valuable. And then one of the dolls goes missing and they think that the kid has stolen the doll, and that's the kid that's the main character. So they go to the kid's house to try to retrieve the doll so they can sell the doll so that they don't have to sell their house. It's a really contrived plot and it does not work well.
Well, this is why I have no shame for getting the plot wrong, because it's such a...
because it was so bad.
silly plot. I was nodding off watching it. It was... it was such a silly plot, like turning them into villains and just all this misunderstanding. And then at the end, like, it turns out, okay, everything's all right. We made a mistake. We'll all be like happy families and close friends. And the Home Alone side of it comes because his family have gone off to Japan for the holidays and they don't realise that he's been left home. And actually, the actress playing his mother, Max's mother, has been in a few things as well. She's quite well known. I think it's... I don't know. I never know how you say her name. Aisling.
Oh, I think it's Aisling.
Aisling.
Yeah. Aisling. No, it's Aisling. That's right. Because of all things, I saw her on Celebrity UK Gogglebox. So there we go.
Okay. Yeah, she's been in stuff, and she's quite good. She's quite watchable. Did you think of Home Sweet Home Alone?
Oh, this one was bad. Bad. And there was a lot done in this that was really pissing me off. So, like you said, this one feels like it's supposed to be a nostalgia grab, bringing Buzz back. I felt like now, what's the kid's name in this? Max?
Yeah.
He was an annoying little snot. I wanted to punch him in the face. Not that I condone violence against children, but seriously. But yeah, so I felt like, so we see his house is like chaotic. They have all of the family over. So I feel like they were trying to recreate the McAllister, household with everyone like running around everywhere. They even have Max, like the reason he gets left behind is because he goes to like sleep in the garage or something and like no one notices where he is. So again, it's like they're trying to like capitalize on the original concept, but because we don't have a charming family and we don't have a charming kid, it just doesn't work. Then you have the whole storyline with the other couple, with the Pam and Jeff couple, where like his obnoxious older brother, who's apparently like uber rich, comes to like stay with them and is like being obnoxious the whole time, and he has a wife who is like the only Asian character in this movie, and so of course she's like the butt of all the jokes because that's what we have to do with Asian characters. They can't just exist. So that felt really old. And I noticed that they were using the score from the original movie, and that was really starting to piss me off because I was like,
too.
no, you can't just take a beautiful score that was written for like a wonderful family movie and try and slap it on this cheap imitation and then pretend that, you know, it's going to evoke the same feeling. Because, yeah, I'm watching the movie and all of a sudden I'm like, actually, Steven actually said it. He was kind of across the room and he's like, is that the music from the original movie? And I'm like, yeah, jerks. So there was that. Then you said, like you pointed out, the fact that like the main couple kind of get turned into villains, except they're not really villains because they're not trying to like harm the kid. They're not trying to steal from the house. They're not trying to like get like a painting or whatever like the last one. They're literally trying to get back something that already belongs to them. So they're not really bad guys. Second, they're like really dumb, these two. Like they make some really stupid decisions. For example, when the wife finds out, when Pam, she finds out that the husband has tried to break in, you know, she's like, why don't we just wait until they're back from holidays? Then we can go over and ask them. And it's like, yeah, why don't you do that? I mean, it's not like your house is being sold right now. Why would you decide to why would you decide to become felons when you could just wait until the family's back and then ask them for the doll back? So that was my first thing. But then they try to do this whole thing where they have like the mother like have memories of the house that she lives in and like, you know, remember what it's like to be a family and be like, oh, I can't lose my house. We have to go and steal this doll so that we can save our house. But it's not like the bank is going to like foreclose on their house or like there's any kind of rush or anything. It's just like, why are you being so stupid? Then at one point they discovered that like someone's home. I think they go in and like the Alexa home thing, you know, I think they have an Alexa and she's speaking in German. So they assume that there's like
get why it was speaking German.
Yeah, that was just weird. No. And then they go to church and they see the kid talking to like some old lady and they assume that lady is the German grandma, right? So then they decide to go to the house because they know the kid's not there. But then my thought was like, okay, so if you think that the grandma is home with the kid, why wouldn't you just approach the grandma and say, hey, we think your grandson stole something from us. Can we have it back? Like, why would they go to break into the house? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's so dumb. And I think one of the biggest reasons this movie didn't work is because in all the other movies, the thieves, the bad guys are bad guy. Harry and Marv are trying to break into houses. You know, the last ones, they're trying to steal from a safe. The ones, like, they're actual genuine bad guys. Whereas these guys aren't bad guys. They're just two adults that are hard on their luck, that are trying to get back something that belongs to them. So when the kid is unleashing all of the traps on them, it's not fun to watch. You know, like in the other ones, you should get like a thrill from it. Like, oh, haha, the thieves are getting what they deserve. But in this one, you just feel sorry for the parents. You just like, they don't really deserve this because they're not actually trying. They don't have any ill intent. So, yeah, I found this movie very tedious to get through. The Buzz cameo was, I mean, it didn't really do much. Yeah, it was pretty lame. You could tell that they only put it in because I'm guessing the actor agreed to it. So they went, cool, let's just pop him in. And unfortunately, they make this movie canon within the series because Buzz talks to someone about how, although this was pretty funny, how every year Kevin calls in a fake child being left at home. That I actually did find that kind of funny, that Kevin's pranking his brother every year. But no, that was just, it added nothing to the story. Like that character could have literally been any general cop character, you know, like they didn't create anything specific for Buzz to do to actually have him in the movie as like a point. So yeah, I found this one annoying. I found the kid so annoying. I think I still think the kid from the fourth one is the most annoying, but this one comes a very close second. I really wanted to just so I did not enjoy this one. How did you go watching this one?
Yeah, it was pretty painful. It didn't start off too bad, but I think by the end it's one of the worst talent in it who I know are better than the movie. Like Ellie Camper I like, and as I said, Rob Delaney. It's got a bunch of like comedians, and it did feel like a bit like the SNL version of Home Alone movie, and that's one of the problems I had with it. Is I think they were just doing, in a way, stand-up routines and just hoping stuff would stick. And because you had a talented enough cast, some of it did stick, but like there were bits where it was feeling like that, where it was just them doing their one-liners, and just a lot of it was really desperate. And Rash out of the Community in there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the bald guy in the scene where they were doing like the whole psalm thing, and he's like the principal out of Community. So yeah. I know him.
Oh yes, I know who you're talking about. Yes, I know him. Yes,
yeah.
Yes,
but it had a bunch of those sorts of actors, like comedians who probably have been on like Saturday Night Live and been in like comedy sitcom type things, and because the dad from The Rich Family has been in stuff as well, like I mean, he was in that mini series Candy I was talking about.
Oh yes, you've talked about that one.
Trying hit on like modern themes, but it's almost like they were trying too hard, because it's like the whole thing with the dad's plight and his complaint about like being like left behind because of more digital like media.
Yeah, because they keep talking about the cloud.
Yeah, it just felt like they were trying too hard. Characters were largely annoying because they went from being like reasonably sympathetic to outright annoying.
Yeah.
And you got a bunch of lame stunts. Like we said, it was silly making them the villains, and because of that, you never really felt, okay, I'm enjoying them getting their come up.
Yeah.
And they just, once again, they were getting really desperate with all the different coincidences.
Yes.
It's another one where they go to the wrong house, like they're all excited, and then it turns out it's the wrong house, so they kind of sneakily back out of that. And yeah, it just makes you mad, because when you've got talented actors, in a way it's worse than some of the other movies where at least you know it's a pretty shit cast, so getting what you paid for, what you expect. But with this, when you've actually got talent who have been good in other things, it's annoying to see them wasted in such a way. And just the nostalgia sequel stuff got really annoying, because like you said, it's almost like they lifted like the John Williams music and just shoehorned it in, just to come up with like a Christmassy style score of their own, or at least do maybe just the one scene with his music as a sort of a thing. Because like some of the original music, I think played on the end credits, so well, that's
that would have been okay.
Enough. But this stuff, it was just cheap, really, and I think it just bugged me the way they were like just doing lines just because it came from the original movies, and just because at one point they're doing like a redo of like the whole noir movie thing where it's
yes.
And the other dad, like the rich dad, he makes this annoying line about, oh, I hate it when they bring back stuff,
when they remake stuff.
Never good. And just making the gag in the movie doesn't make it right then you're doing that. It doesn't give you a get out of jail free card because you're actually making reference to it. So lines like that I absolutely hated, and I think the Buzz cameo was wasted. Like there was more they could have done with that character, and
absolutely
the actor is like fine enough, and I just think if you're gonna go to the trouble of having him reappear, just actually do something with it. So it just became plain.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like he could have been the one to maybe figure out the kid was home alone or something like that, because his own brother ended up in that situation. But they do absolutely nothing with it, and so it just might as well have just been any actor in that role.
Just McAllister
Alarm Systems or something.
Yeah, and that's another lame little like wink wink. Yeah, it's just that sort of thing. It's a little bit too far.
Yeah,
it's a little bit too winking and nudging. So
And you were talking about like contrived coincidences. Like there was this whole thing with like the dad turning up at the house when everyone's like that family's about to like leave, and like someone like yells the door code out. So of course he's right there. So he hears the door code. So he knows exactly, and then he sees the dad put the key under the pot. So like he knows everything. But it's like, would you be that blasé about leaving such a high, like at such a highly priced house, like just be yelling the codes out and stuff like that? Like it felt very contrived. There was also, I wanted to bring up, there was this weird sequence. I don't know what it was there for, but I think it goes with your whole thing of saying like these were just like little Saturday Night Live like skits, where the mother the mother of the kid who's been left behind, she's on a plane, and there's this whole thing where like the guy who's sitting next to her keeps looking at her screen, and it goes for like 5 minutes where it's supposed to be like this gag about him like watching her screen instead of his own screen, but like it didn't go anywhere. It wasn't even funny, and I have no idea what the point of the scene was. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff like that in this movie that's just really weird. I also thought when the kid is left home alone for the first time, again, they try to do the same thing that they do in the first movie, where Kevin goes crazy in the house and is like running around, except it's so over the top with this kid. Like with Kevin, you just see him like eating junk food, watching movies he shouldn't, and maybe jumping on the bed a bit. But this kid is like surfing down his stairs and like diving into massive piles of like M&Ms, and like he's doing all this like really over the top stuff that like you wouldn't actually do. So again, it feels like they're trying to capitalize on the first movie, but be like, look how much bigger and better and more fun we can make it. But it just ends up coming across as really unrealistic and just, again, really stupid.
Screen on the plane. It just feels like that sort of humour they didn't go far enough with, like actually making it clear what they were saying, because I guess they were just making a genuine point about people being more aware of screens and people maybe just being quite nosy. Like if you are someone on a train or a plane, then if they've got a laptop on or something like that, then you naturally have a browse, well, what are they watching sort of thing, or so I think it's meant to be that, but they didn't make it clear enough what it was. It just seemed quite random. So I wonder if it is one of those, like you said, almost like a skit type thing, but they didn't really go far enough to really make it funny. Stunts were pretty lame. Like that, they didn't really make me laugh. The stunts,
no, me either.
And I mean, I'm sort of really forgetting them in many ways. I know Pam got the worst of it in some ways. I know there was one where she was on the fence or the wall or something, and
and then there was one where she got like a bunch of blow darts or something to her face, and I think the dad was. See, I can't even remember. I'm barely remembering like what's going on. They just really, it was not good.
Yeah, and I sort of think maybe it's miscasting, especially with her. Like him, I think maybe the casting was a bit better, but with her, like in The Office, she does play like a very cute, like very likable, quirky type character, and I think that is her sort of strong suit. So to try and turn her into a villain in this was really weird. I just couldn't get behind that.
And then you had that whole thing at the end where, like, because basically the kid misunderstood what they were saying, and he thought that they were coming to kidnap him as opposed to coming to get the doll. And then you find out he didn't even have the doll in the first place, like their nephew stole it or something. But like at the end, it's like you said, all of a sudden, like they stop being villains and they realize the kid is home alone, and they're like, "Oh, sweetie, come and stay with us." And everything just kind of works out, and it's all like, oh, we're going to take this kid and take care of him.
Payoff.
It is. And then I found, like, then they go to like a year later and they're all having Christmas together, and it just felt really saccharine. Like they've got the house, they're friends with the family, the dad's got a job again. It's like everything came together. It's like you could have just ended it with like all of them at Christmas with the mum coming home, and that was it. We didn't have to have that extra kind of like, oh, look, everything worked out in the end. It felt very fake and very like they were trying too hard to be like, yes, everything's happy, everyone's fine, my dad's got a job, woo. Just didn't, I don't know, for me it just didn't ring true, and it felt really saccharine and over the top.
I think you need proper villains in this, like actual proper, like just making them a villain villains by mistake almost, and then just doing the thing of, oh, it was all a coincidence or it was all a misunderstanding. And again, that feels like a very sitcom sort of thing, but
yes.
no, it just doesn't wash in this sort of movie. It's not the sort of humour you really want. What are you going to rate this one?
So I think I'll give this one a 2. It's still not as bad as the fourth one, which is why I'm not giving it a 1, but it definitely dropped in quality from the last one. I think the fact that it does have a couple of actors who are of slightly higher caliber makes it a little bit more watchable. Like if you didn't have those actors, like it would really just be awful all around. But yeah, the nostalgia grab, the over the top of it, and the fact that, this wasn't villains being handed their karma. This was just a whole thing of like, mistakes and miscommunication, and it just didn't work out. And like I said, the kid in this, oh my god, the kid in this, like if we didn't have the kid from the fourth movie, this kid would definitely be the worst one of the bunch. 2 out of 10 for me. Really was not a great watch. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the 2. I think this is one of the worst ones, which is a shame because we had a slight improvement last time. But I think this is one of the worst ones, and you're quite insulting in many ways. So
yep,
2 out of 10 sounds about right.
Cool. Well, we agree on that then.
So if you want to do your rankings now that we've done all 6 movies.
All right, so we're going from worst to best or favorite to least favorite?
Well, I guess go from worst to best.
Coming in at dead last would be Home Alone 4. That one was truly awful. That was the one where they decided to make it a sequel, even though they didn't bring back any of the original actors. We had that snot of a kid playing Kevin. He was terrible. The evil stepmom, the house with way too much technology. Everything about that one was just really bad. And so that's Home Alone 4. Is that 4? Yes, Home Alone 4 right at the bottom. After that one, I'm going to go with the one that we just reviewed, Home Sweet Home Alone, as we've talked about in this review. Truly terrible. After that, so coming in at, we're at number 6, 5. So number 4, I'm going to go with Home Alone 5, The Holiday Heist. Like we said, that one was slightly better. We at least got Simon, who was an interesting character. I at least got one genuine laugh, and the direction was slightly better for that one. Of course, we got Michael McDowell and Monet Mazar. No, not Monet, Debbie Mazar. There's another one similar name, so that one's all right. Then I'm going to go with Home Alone 3. I know we didn't love Home Alone 3, but I do actually think of the sequels, it was probably the best quality one. It at least had some somewhat interesting characters. I do think the whole terrorist plot was really stupid, but I didn't find myself tuning out as much as I did with these other 3. And I think the Home Alone 3 one still has a little bit of 90s feel to it, which then lets me kind of grab onto like 90s era nostalgia. So it can be pushed forward a little bit more because of that. Number 2, I'm going with the original. I do love the original. And of course, if we're looking at the rankings, these 4 are here and then the other 2 come up all the way up here. So it's like a big gap. So number 2 would be the original, which is such a good film, such a great family film, little Macaulay Culkin back in his heyday, lots and lots of fun, lots of heart, just a great film. But Home Alone 2 is number 1 for me, and I spoke about this when we did our review. I saw this one in the cinema. I saw this one first, so it's always got that bit of nostalgia for me. I really love the New York setting. I feel that the New York setting it brings the Christmas feel out. I think the characterization is a little bit stronger in this one. And of course, it has Tim Curry, which always elevates anything for me. So Home Alone 2 comes in at number 1. So that's my ranking, just done off the top of my head for the franchise. How about you?
Okay, so mine, not surprisingly, is similar. I'm going to agree with Home Alone 4 at the bottom.
At the bottom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Hallmark Channel, cliche trash, really. Truly awful. So then, just above that, I'd still go with this one. Yeah, I think this is the other weakest one. So that's The Holiday Heist is next. After that, I'm actually going to go for 3. Yeah, I think 3 is next for me. Partly because it was a disappointment, because a lot of people hyped it up and actually said they enjoy it.
Okay.
We talked about that maybe being nostalgia, and they watched it as kids. And of course, we got the fun fact that it's Roger Ebert's favourite Home Alone movie. Shame we didn't see more Scarlett Johansson. And I think the debate with that one, where you might have it a bit higher, is just because it had that novelty feel where it was so wacky that it felt a bit like a Mission Impossible meets Home Alone style movie. But because of that, I also kind of hated it because it didn't feel enough of a Home Alone movie. So you had the annoying stuff with him having chicken pox. And he was sleeping around. So I was disappointed by 3 because I had heard pretty good things.
Fair enough.
And I'm actually going to go for that next. Holiday Heist is going to be my number 3. I'll put that. Maybe just a relief that it wasn't as bad as some of the other ones, and slight improvements with some of the cast and the direction. But that's actually my number 3, just ahead of number 3 itself. And then, so obviously I'm the opposite on you. So Lost in New York is my number 2. It is a very strong sequel, as sequels go, and still has a lot of the charm of the original. It just does drag, like, as you get in the middle and like the end. And obviously we agreed that the stunts and stuff at the end weren't as good as in the first movie. So it's a very solid sequel, and some good use of like the New York setting and some nice kind of callback gags. But overall, it's not quite as good as the original for me, which is a very tight, very rewatchable movie with a nice sort of grounded premise, lots of fun lines, and just that magical feel. Great music by John Williams, and great casting with the lead and the crooks, and also Catherine O'Hara, who remains very underrated, I think. So it's a magical Christmas movie which has held up over time. Doubt they'll do another one at some point.
I think there already is a 7th one in the works.
Is there? Well, a friend of mine said apparently there's an animated one called Bone Alone, which is like a dog, but it's like Alone. I guess I could have made us do that if I'd found out about it sooner, but we'll leave that one for now. But no doubt they'll redo this premise, because the franchise still has enough of there you
Bone Alone. There it is.
I thought it was the porn version at first.
Yeah, I was worried as I was Googling this. I'm like, be careful what you look up, Rachel.
Yeah. But this is like a big name franchise, and it's sort of easy to do cheaply. That's the trouble, which is unfortunately what we found with most of these sequels. So unfortunately, there'll probably be more in the future. But for now, we've done our time, and we'll move on to better stuff. We're going to do both Gremlin movies, for example, and I can promise you that both of those are better than 90% of Home Alone movies, at least. So you can look forward to that and some other like special reviews coming up. But let us know what you thought of the final Home Alone movie, Home Sweet Home Alone, from 2021 in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Also, if you want to do your own rankings, then knock yourself out. Let us know where you would place each one. And also let us know what other Christmas movies you want us to do on the channel, and what you've been watching over Christmas as well. Like and subscribe as always. And you can support me on Patreon, patreon.com/borednow. Rachel, if you want to plug your channel.
Guys, you can follow me, Rachel McDonald, video essays on TV shows and movies. My Tumblr and Twitter are also linked through my YouTube, and Keith will usually put a link in the description. So come and follow me everywhere. Also, here's a little bit of trivia for you guys just as we leave. Apparently, Bone Alone stars Kevin Sorbo. So if you want to see Hercules, there you go. So,
is that who that is? I was going to ask who that is. Hercules. I know who you mean now.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's a good note to leave on. Happy holidays. See you later, guys.
'Twas the night before Christmas vacation. And the fun was in full swing.
You have split our family onto 2 separate flights.
Mom!
Max, please!
The family left for their big vacation,
Is that everyone? The cars are leaving now!
but forgot one little thing.
Mom? Dad? Uncle Blake? They don't even know I'm here. They don't even know I'm here. My mum and dad have gone to Tokyo. I'm totally on my own.
You do realise that my 10-year-old son is at home by himself. You just assumed Max was on the other flight.
We didn't take a census.
We got reports of suspicious people around 36 Lincoln Ave.
I can't go to jail, honey. I wouldn't last 30 seconds in Gen Pop. It's where fresh fish get got.
Nobody here is getting got.
And we're criminals.
I don't think so. This is my house. I have to defend it. Orange stripe, center pocket. Ooh. That did not sound right.
I am trying to get home to my son, who is alone. I'm scared. And he needs his mother.
Going well.
Home Sweet Home Alone.
Oh no, a ladder!
You think I'm that stupid?
Yes, I do.
Only on Disney Plus.